Welcome back to the Wax Shop Pro Stock Bike Dash here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And two riders in the round of four that really, quite honestly, weren't expected to be here. Keith Gray and Steve Johnson. Now, Johnson has lane choice, but a few moments ago, when Keith Gray went over to ask him which lane he wanted, he had an unusual way of selecting his side of the racetrack. Watch this.
Keith, ready to switch? Let me see. Yeah, I'm over here.
A little Kentucky windage, huh, Mr. Johnson? Young man from California just oozes personality. Now he better ooze reaction time because Gray over the far side is no slouch. The yellow bike is Johnson. Red and white bike is Gray. Beat on the pegs. Johnson drifts near the wall but guides it back. Just in the nick of time, he goes to the final round at 798, 164 miles an hour to losing 819. Now let's watch that yellow bike. Crosswind is everything in this kind of racing. Plus, the racetracks are angled or sloped for drainage, and that may have affected Gray as the bike wanted to go to the left. John Myers, his bike already fired. He had a perfect seat to watch Johnson have his handling problems. Let's go to Bob Pride. This could be fun.
We don't put any pressure on you, but you're in the finals of the shootout now.
Oh, the finals. That's where all the bucks are. I need that money. That's the bottom line. I need that money. When we fire the clutch on this thing and we go 0 to 60 in 1 second, it's like, yeah! But you gotta go for it because you need the money.
I think you need the money so you get this helmet painted. Steve, I mean this. That is the ugliest helmet I've ever seen.
We tried to do something, and John Pugh came up with something. It's a unique design, but it goes along with the slickest program in pro stock motorcycles.
It's a good thing we're not counting helmets here. We're counting performance on the racetrack, and Steve Johnson, the Slick 50 bike, in the finals.
Thanks a lot.
When Bob Pry is not at the far end doing interviews, he scours the pits looking for interesting stories and had a close-up look at this bike of Jim Bernard's.
One of the bikes to keep your eye on is this Suzuki, ridden by Jim Bernard. A couple of reasons for that. Jim's always been one of the strongest runners. Went to the finals at Indy in 1990. Very quick on the starting line. But also, this bike is a 2-valve per cylinder Suzuki. As a matter of fact, next to John Myers, might be the only 2-valve bike in competition today.
Maybe not. Some of the other teams have switched to the 2-valve because the engine can be bigger with the same total weight. All right, here is John Myers, the best of the best, up against the youngster from Maryland, 22 years old, his 10th national event, looking for his first victory. That's Jim Bernard. Whoa, and all over the racetrack is John Myers. We have another upset. It will be Steve Johnson and Jim Bernard in the dash final. Just unbelievable. Bernard, fine performance too, a 790 at 168 miles an hour. Myers off the gas, slowing to just 73 miles per. Well, in the pair just before, we saw Steve Johnson have control problems. In fact, John Myers saw it. I wonder if it's related. Watch the bike in the near lane. It appears to be just fine. And all of a sudden, the bike starts to wobble around. He tries to use body English to bring it back. Just can't quite make it work.
First it was Dave Schultz going out in the first round, and now it's John Myers going out at the hand of Jim Bernard. Jim, you got to be really happy.
Yeah, I think I had a pretty good run. I'm not sure what happened to John, but I think I cut a good light. It was a clean pass. I'm looking forward to the final.
Well, everybody was saying there's going to be a Schultz-Myers final. It's going to be a Bernard-Johnson final now.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Two rookies. It should be good.
So the odd couple meet in the final round, and Jim Bernard will have the lane choice. But right now, let's go to Bob Pride, who is caught up with John Myers.
The much-anticipated Schultz-Myers matchup is not going to happen. Dave Schultz out in the first round, John Myers out here in the second round. John, tell us what happened.
Well, we had a good leave. It went pretty straight for the first 60 feet, and then all of a sudden it just turned towards the sidewall, and I couldn't pull it out of it. It was, if I would have stayed in, it would have hit the wall, so had to lift.
And, of course, the way this field is, any little mistake out there on the racetrack, and you're going to be history.
That's it. It's really tight racing. And I don't know if you knew it, but those 4 bikes that were in the around that time were all star machines.
Of course, you got Jim Bernard going against Steve Johnson in the final. And from the former world champion, what's your pick on the final?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough pick. I'd say you pick them. They're both star bikes. I like both guys. I think Jim Bernard went a little quicker that time, so he might have an edge.
Well, John Myers still smiling despite the fact that neither he nor Dave Schultz are going to be in the finals of the Wax Shop Pro Bike Dash.
The nice